Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Daily English Practice Channel. I'm Anna. In part 2, Ethan attended his mother's birthday dinner. The dinner he helped organize. The dinner he worked so hard to make special. But nobody saved him a seat. Nobody included him in the family photo. Nobody noticed when he left. For the first time, Ethan began asking himself a painful question. Did his family love him? Or did they simply love what he did for them? Tonight, everything changes. Because sometimes a person can only carry so much before they finally put the weight down. Let's continue the story together.
That night, I barely slept. The house was quiet. The clock on the wall ticked softly. Outside, the city slept peacefully. But inside my mind, a storm was raging. I kept replaying the evening again and again and again. The empty chair, the family photo, the speeches, the silence, the woman asking, "Which one is Ethan?" And the worst part? Nobody had an answer. Not immediately, because nobody had really seen me. Not for years. Around 3 in the morning, I got out of bed, walked into the kitchen, made coffee, then sat at the table, alone. The same table where I had paid bills, planned budgets, solved family emergencies, and sacrificed countless dreams. For the first time in 20 years, I asked myself a question. What do I want? The answer didn't come immediately, because I had spent so many years thinking about everyone else. I no longer knew how to think about myself. Then I looked around the room and noticed something. Every photograph on the wall showed someone else's life. Ryan's graduation, Lily's bakery opening, my mother's birthday parties, family vacations, children's birthdays, happy memories. I was in some of the photos, usually standing in the background, holding something, fixing something, carrying something. Never the focus, never the reason, just there, always there. A strange feeling settled over me, not anger, not sadness, clarity. For the first time in 20 years, I understood something. Nothing was going to change. Not unless I changed it. The next morning, I made a decision. The biggest decision of my life. I packed one suitcase. Just one. Some clothes, a few books, important documents, and an old notebook. The notebook where I used to write down dreams I never followed. Then I sat down one final time and wrote a letter. Not a long letter, just an honest one. The words came slowly at first, then faster and faster, until years of silence finally poured onto the page. When I finished, the sun was rising. Golden light filled the room. I folded the letter carefully, placed it on the kitchen table, and left. No dramatic goodbye, no phone calls, no arguments, just silence. And for the first time in years, peace. Hours later, my phone began ringing. Ryan. I didn't answer. A few minutes later, Lily. Then my mother. Then Ryan again, and again, and again. I turned off the phone and kept driving, farther, 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 toward a life I had never given myself permission to live. Meanwhile, back home, nobody understood what was happening. At first, nobody worried. Ethan probably needs some space, Ryan said. He'll call. Lily agreed. He always does. My mother nodded. Of course he would. Because Ethan always came back. Always. A day passed. Then 2. Then a week. Still no call. Still no message. Still nothing. The family began to feel uncomfortable. Not because they missed me. Not yet. Because things were starting to go wrong. The roof repair appointment was missed. The insurance paperwork wasn't submitted. A bill wasn't paid on time. My mother's car needed maintenance. Ryan's babysitter canceled. Lily needed help moving supplies. For years, I had quietly handled these problems before anyone noticed them. Now, the problems remained. And people finally saw them. 2 weeks later, the family gathered at my mother's house. The atmosphere felt different. Heavier. Worried. "Has anyone heard from Ethan?" my mother asked. Silence. Nobody had. Ryan frowned. This isn't like him. No, it wasn't. That was the point. Then Lily noticed something sitting on the kitchen table. An envelope. The same envelope I had left behind. Untouched. Unopened. Ignored for 2 entire weeks. Just like me. Slowly, Ryan picked it up. The room became quiet. My mother looked nervous. Lily swallowed hard. Something about the envelope felt important. Different. Ryan carefully opened it, then unfolded the letter. His eyes moved across the first line, and suddenly his expression changed. The color left his face. "What is it?" Lily asked. Ryan didn't answer immediately. He simply stared at the page, then finally read aloud. "My whole life, I tried to be enough for everyone." The room became silent. Completely silent. Because for the first time, the family was about to hear Ethan's voice. Not the voice they called when they needed help. Not the voice that always said yes. The voice they had never truly listened to. And what they were about to read would change everything.
Ethan is gone, not because he stopped loving his family, but because he finally started caring about himself. And now, for the first time, his family must face a difficult truth. The person they depended on most was hurting all along. My friends, what do you think Ethan wrote in the letter? And do you think his family will finally understand his pain? If you want part 4, the letter, stay with Daily English Practice Channel. Keep listening, keep practicing, and remember, sometimes people don't realize your value until your absence creates a silence they cannot ignore. To be continued.